Our rail journey across Europe is coming to an end. Today we'll be travelling from Stuttgart in Germany to London in the UK via Paris. This is Travelcaster, the travel pod that takes you there. It's a journey that started just over a week ago. During that time we visited 5 countries and covered nearly 3,000 kilometres. There's another 2,000 to go. You can follow all the details of the journey so far by listening to previous episodes of this season's podcast, or head to travelcaster.blog. Well, it's just before 6 a.m. in Stuttgart, Germany. For the past 24 hours we've been exploring this extraordinary city, taking in some of its sights, and if you'd like to find out what we did, you can listen to the previous episode of the Travelcaster pod. Today's journey is a fairly long one. We're going to be setting off at just before 7 a.m. from Stuttgart main station on to Paris for 10 o'clock on a TGV train. Then we have a changeover time of 2 hours to get to Paris Nord station, although that shouldn't be too difficult, more of which later, and that's going to take us into London St Pancras for 1:30. So, a journey where you can have breakfast in Stuttgart, lunch in Paris, and afternoon tea in London. Now, admittedly, this is a bit of an early start, but in order to get to Paris and connect to the Eurostar train, we've had to take that connection. There are later trains leaving Stuttgart heading in that direction, so if you've got a spare day in hand, you could spend that in Paris if you wanted to. So it's barely 6:30 in the morning, already Stuttgart Central Station is extremely busy, and the departure for Paris wasn't quite showing on the board because there were so many trains going before it, but I found it now. It's going to be on platform 4. This is a TGV Inouï service, a French railway service, which is going to take me through the city of Karlsruhe and then on to Strasbourg before finally ending up at Paris just after 10 o'clock.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of SNCF and Deutsche Bahn, welcome on board this TGV to Paris via Strasbourg. You will find the bar in coach 14. We wish you a pleasant journey.
Well, it was another efficient TGV journey from Stuttgart to Paris Est, but now I've got to get to Paris Nord, which is about a 10-minute walk away. Unfortunately, we came into Paris about 20 minutes late. However, I do have a 2-hour connection time here, so things to Eurostar should be okay. Now, optimistically, the signs say that it's a 5 minutes walk from the Gare de l'Est to the Gare du Nord. I'd give it about 15 or 20 minutes though, especially if you're not quite as mobile, because it will involve a steep set of steps just outside Gare de l'Est and then a dash across a couple of streets. Just follow the signs and you'll get here in no time though. Once inside the Gare du Nord, turn left and look for the escalators going up towards Eurostar check-in. Now, once you go up the escalator at Gare du Nord, you're going to be checked by French and UK customs, so have your passport ready. After that, there's a security check and you're ready to board the train. And here's another Travelcaster tip if you're using Eurostar from Paris. Do arrive in good time, but be aware that check-in is fairly efficient and you'll swiftly be in the departure hall. I'd say the departure hall, it's more like a holding pen. Like London St Pancras, you can't go anywhere once you've been through security, and there are limited options for catering and somewhere to rest. So if you do have a bit of extra time, perhaps hang around at the Gare du Nord itself and explore some of the surrounding areas there. Now, the good news is that by completing border checks for both countries before you get on board the train, you'll have a swift exit once you get to the other side. That applies both in France and the UK. Another thing to bear in mind is that at either station, check out where you're going to be boarding the train. There are several entrances to the platform and you need to be at the right one, otherwise you'll face a lengthy walk to get to your carriage.
And after 2.5 hours leaving Paris, here we are, back where we started our journey, London St Pancras. Don't forget though, if you are coming this way, put your clock back by an hour, because you're on UK time, not European. And if you're really lucky, somebody will be giving you a tune to welcome you home. So there we are, an 8-day European rail journey, over 3,000 kilometres, 5 countries covered. And now, we're going to give you an idea of how we did it. If you've been inspired by this trip, here are a few ideas of how to do it. The Eurail pass comes in 2 types, one country or global. You then have a second choice. A continuous pass allows you to travel on any day across a set period, for example 15 days or a month. Alternatively, you can select a cheaper pass which allows you a set number of travel days, for example 5 days within a month. Bear in mind that if you do this, you will have slightly less flexibility. But here's the thing, you can cancel a travel day up until 23:59 the day before. So if you fancy staying on somewhere you like the look of, you can do that. Now, as I've been travelling around Europe, a lot of people have asked me about sleeper trains. Do they run, and can you use them with the pass? The answer is yes they do, and yes you can. But you will need a mandatory reservation if you want somewhere to sleep. Now, there are normally choices of just having a seat in a regular carriage or some kind of bedroom. But there are different types of tariffs according to whether you're prepared to share or not and how much privacy you actually want. This can get quite complicated. Now, the good news is that the Eurail website and app will tell you which journeys carry mandatory reservations. It's worth noting that the busiest long distance and international trains often sell out fast, and there are a limited number of seats for pass holders. You might find particular challenges in booking Eurostar seats at peak times. Reservations usually open 90 days in advance, so if you're travelling out of the UK, it's worth planning the first part of your journey as soon as you can. There are loads more tips online. Just go to travelcaster.blog and search Eurail Adventure. And that completes our European rail adventure. We hope it's given you some inspiration. This is Travelcaster, the travel pod that takes you there.